Hey guys, thank you so much again for joining me. Yesterday we talked about creation, the very beginning of our world. And today we're going to go a little bit more into that story and we're going to talk about Adam and Eve. So let's say our Bible verse together. We started practicing Genesis 1:1. So let's do it together. Here we go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. Way to go, guys. I think it's so important for you to memorize scripture and to write it on your heart so that you can remember it when you're out in the world around other people that don't necessarily know who God is. All right, so we're going to sing a couple of songs. We sang these two songs yesterday. We're going to sing the same songs again today. So we're going to start with the one that God made me with the tune of London Bridges. God made me and all of you, all of you, all of you. God made me and all of you. He loves us. He made frogs and birdies too, birdies too, birdies too. He made frogs and birdies too. Jeep, jeep, jeep. Okay, great job, guys. Sing along with me with the creation song. I'm going to show you the pictures again as we go through this song. Here we go. Oops, sorry, I'm holding up a piece of paper. Day one, God made light when there was none. Day one, God made light when there was none. Day two, God made clouds and skies so blue. Day two, God made clouds and skies so blue. Sorry guys, I skipped it. Day three, God made grass and flowers and trees. Day three, God made grass and flowers and trees. Day four, God made sun, moon, and stars galore. Day four, God made sun, moon, and stars galore. Day five, God made birds and fish alive. Day five, God made birds and fish alive. Day six, God made animals and man that day. Day six, God made animals and man that day. Day seven, God is resting in his heaven. Day seven, God is resting in his heaven. Great job. I hope that song just helps you remember all the things that God had created in the first 7 days of our world. Okay, so our Bible story today is Adam and Eve. So I'm going to be reading from my Read With Me Bible again. And remember, this book is in the Old Testament. The story is in the Old Testament. We're reading from the book of Genesis. That's the book that our first story took place in, the creation. And I'm going to just go right to the next story to read our story today. All right, so this is the Garden of Eden in Genesis. We're going to be reading from Genesis 2 and 3 today. Okay. Let me hold the book the right way. Sorry, sometimes it's a little tricky. God planted a garden in Eden. God made all kinds of trees grow. Their fruit was good to eat. The tree that gives life forever was in the middle of the garden. The tree that gives the ability to know about good and evil was also there. God made Adam in the garden. He put him there to take care of it. God brought all the wild animals and birds to the man to see what names he would give them. So the man gave names to all of the birds and the wild animals. Don't you think that would be such a fun job to create all kinds of different, or to name all kinds of different animals? Can you imagine what Adam was thinking that day? I just think that would be a very cool thing. All right. God said, sorry guys, I'm having trouble. God said, "You can eat the fruit of any tree in the garden, but you must not eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If you do, you will die." God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper for him." So God made Adam fall asleep. God took out one of his ribs. God made a woman from the rib. Adam named his wife Eve. Now the serpent was more clever than any of the wild animals. The serpent said to Eve, "Did God really say that you must not eat the fruit of any tree in the garden?" Eve said, "We can eat the fruit of the trees that are in the garden. But God did say you must not eat from the tree in the middle of the garden. Do not touch it. If you do, you will die." "You won't die," the serpent said. "God knows when you eat the fruit, you will know things you have never known before. You will be like God." What do you think that Eve is thinking at this point in the story? Tell your mom or dad. What do you think they're thinking about? What do you think Eve is thinking about? Let's see what she does. Eve took some fruit and she ate it. She gave some to Adam and he ate it. Then they realized they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made clothes for themselves. They hid from God among the trees. Do you think they can really hide from God? Can we hide from God? Or does God always know where we are and see what we're doing? It was the coolest time of day. God called out to Adam, "Where are you?" "I heard you in the garden," Adam answered. "I was afraid, so I hid." God said, "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten the fruit of the tree I commanded you not to eat?" Adam said, "Eve gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." God said to Eve, "What have you done?" Eve said, "The serpent tricked me. That's why I ate the fruit." So God drove them out of the Garden of Eden. Oh, what a sad story. What sad ending to the story, okay? Let's talk about it a little bit, all right? So I'm going to show you some pictures about the story, and I'm going to read to you a few things, and then you're going to look at the pictures and discuss it with your parents, okay? So here's our first picture. God had created a beautiful world. Every creature, flower, plant, and tree was perfect. The weather was perfect. God looked around the earth and saw that everything was good. He wanted to create someone to care for the earth and its animals. So God formed Adam out of the dust of the ground. He breathed into him the breath of life. Adam had a big job. He was in charge of caring for the animals and naming all the animals. Adam named all the animals, but Adam was still lonely. He needed a friend. God created Eve to be Adam's wife. He placed them in the beautiful Garden of Eden. Every evening, God would come to the garden to walk and talk with Adam and Eve. Can you imagine what it would have been like to walk and talk with God? I hope that someday we will all get to walk and talk with God up in heaven. But Adam and Eve got to do that special thing right from the get-go. Adam and Eve enjoyed living in the garden. They had lots to eat and were very happy and content. God allowed them to eat fruit from any tree in the garden except from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Only one tree. Is it hard for you to listen to your parents, teachers, coaches, or grandparents when they tell you not to do something? What happens when you don't listen? Talk to your mom and dad about it. Is that hard sometimes? And then what happens to you when you don't listen? Adam and Eve were in the garden one day when along came the serpent. Do you know what a serpent is? A serpent is the snake, all right? He came to them and asked them a question. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Eve told the serpent that they could eat of any tree except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. If we touch it or eat it, we will die. The serpent told Eve that she would not die, but that her eyes would be open and she would be like God, knowing good and evil. Eve took a bite and she gave some to Adam. They felt bad and ashamed, and they hid from God. In the evening, God came to the garden to spend time with Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were hiding from God. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Do you think they could hide from him? Or did God know where they were? God asked Adam who told them to hide, who told them because they were naked. Adam and Eve told God that they had disobeyed and they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God was sad. Adam and Eve had to be punished for their bad choice. They had to leave the garden. They had to work hard and to suffer pain. Adam and Eve were sad. God had put them in this gorgeous Garden of Eden, and they had to leave it because they disobeyed. God promised, though, that one day he would provide a way for the sins, the relationship, to be restored. God loves us. He's a just God. He loves us. He's a fair God. Adam and Eve had to be punished, but God would send his son Jesus to make a way for everyone to join him in heaven again one day. So even though the story ended in a sad way, that's not the complete ending of the story, and that's what's so great about it. Okay, so for your craft today, you have a piece of paper that looks like this, and it's actually several pieces of paper put together. And it's just a little story about Adam and Eve and what happened in the garden. But what I want you to do is you're going to take this and you're going to cut it in half. So you're going to cut sorry guys, it's hard to do it, right along this line right here. So you've seen I have cut mine in half, and I made them into a little book about the Garden of Eden and the story of Adam and Eve. Now, I did this for my little ones. So if you would like to put this book together and let them color it, you can do that. If you are older and you want to color the pictures out and make your own story, maybe glue it onto a big long piece of paper and put the story in order, and maybe even write your own version of what happened in the story, write down the words that God gave us from the story, you can do that. So take it however you would like. If you would like to make a little storybook like this, go for it and have fun coloring. If you would like to cut these pictures out and put them in order in a different way, go for it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Say hi, Fenton. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you again tomorrow.